Game Nexus.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Game Nexus. It's Dwayne here, and today we're doing another Marvel Champions video. We're talking about the Miss Marvel Hero expansion. Now I know I'm a little late to the party on this one, as she has been out for quite a while, but like I said in my last video, these videos are primarily aimed at new players and players who just aren't quite at the bleeding edge of every expansion and every set that comes out. So albeit it might be a little bit dated, but I'm hoping that these videos find a audience with some of the players who aren't caught up or just want some more information about the character packs before they buy them. So like I said, we're talking about Miss Marvel Camilla Khan. Camilla Khan is a very popular character in the Marvel comics. And I've actually never picked up her comics. The character is kind of goofy and that sort of side of it. And it's a cool character. I just haven't really got into it that much. But the set is actually quite cool. It's got some good mechanics, and we'll walk you through it here and see if it resonates with you. So first things first, we're going to actually start off with Miss Marvel herself. And Miss Marvel is actually a pretty decent card across the board. She's a 1 thwart, a 1 attack, and a 1 defense character. So she's pretty much as plain as it can get. She's not packing any kind of serious punch right on her card. She's got Morphogenics, which is a response. And so after you play either an attack, thwart, or defense event, exhaust Miss Marvel, then return that event back to your hand. So that mechanic allows you to sort of make the most of the cards that you do have in your hands. So starting the game off, obviously, in your secret identity, she does have a 5 recover, and that's actually pretty potent. She does have the ability to sort of bounce back really quick. I forgot to mention as well, her actual health starting is only 10. So you want to be careful when you're using her. Make sure that you're not pushing yourself beyond your limits. Teen Spirit is her alter ego. She's an inhuman. So discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard a Miss Marvel card, then add that card to your hand. Limit once per round. So again, going into her deck, pulling out cards that you need, making good use of those cards. So we're going to dive into her allies, and for this pack, actually, she only has 1 ally. The rest of her friends and family and whatnot are actually supported. So her biggest ally is Red Dagger. And Red Dagger from the comics is I guess he's a non-powered superhero who's new in the New Jersey area. And so his character stats are 2 for thwart, 2 for attack. He's got a 3 health, and he has an interrupt. So when Red Dagger is defeated, spend 2 resources of different types, deal 2 damage to an enemy, and return Red Dagger back to your hand. So you're starting to see a little bit of a theme here with Miss Marvel, where cards are coming out onto the table and back into your hand. Now we're going to walk through Miss Marvel's upgrades, and she's got 3 of them in her deck. We'll start off with her Biokinetic Polymer Suit. So it's a 1 cost on that one, and it's a hero resource. So exhaust Biokinetic Polymer Suit and generate a wildcard resource for an event, and specifically that's for an event card. So we have Embiggen, and Embiggen is actually quite a cool upgrade, actually. It is an interrupt, and so when you play an attack event, exhaust Embiggen and increase the amount of damage that event deals by 2. So as soon as you can get that on the table, the better. It's a 2 cost, but it's going to work wonders when you start hitting the villain for damage versus thwart. And I played this with my good friend Kyle, and he actually used that to quite good effect. And then we have the upgrade Shrink. It's a 2 cost upgrade. And it's a conditioned superpower, so it's a hero interrupt. When you play a thwart event, exhaust Shrink and increase the amount of threat that event removes by 2. And you're going to see here when we actually get into the event cards why that is a very cool card to use as a combo. So I'm going to shuffle these aside, and I'm going to leave that one Shrink out there so I can show you this combo directly. Okay, so we're going to go into the events now, and that one that I was just making reference to, I'll show that to you now. And it's Sneak By. It's a 2 cost event, and it is a thwart, and it is a hero action, obviously, in your hero mode, and it's remove 3 threat from a scheme. So if you combine that with Shrink, you're just going to take 5 threat right off the top. So very cool combo if you can get that out, and you do get a few sneak buys as well as Shrinks in the deck, I believe. Okay, we're going to go Big Hands. And Big Hands is a hero action. It's an attack, obviously, and you deal 4 damage to an enemy. So just a really good, hit hard attack. And then we have Wiggle Room. Okay, it's a defense superpower, so it's a hero interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage, and then draw a card. And you're going to see in a second here when we get into support cards where her deck actually does revolve around pulling cards out of your deck. So I'm going to shuffle those off to the side. And then we're going to deal with her support cards. So we've got 3 of those. And the neat thing about this character expansion, what I do kind of like, being a family man myself, is it does revolve around family. Kamala Khan, or the Ms. Marvel comic book, does have a lot of family storylines and plots, and just focuses on that side. So to that end, we have Ms. Marvel's brother, Amir Khan. So he has an alter ego action, so you have to be in your Kamala Khan identity. And exhaust Amir Khan and place 1 card from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck, then draw 1 card. So again, that theme of getting cards sort of cycling through. And then we have Bruno Carilli, and he has an alter ego action, which is exhaust Bruno Carilli, attach 1 card from your hand face down from here. And as an action, you can exhaust him and add up to 3 cards attached here to your hand. So again, cycling through those cards. And Bruno in the comic books is actually a really good friend of Camilla's. Super intelligent guy. So it's good that they've included him. It's kind of neat that they're pulling that into the game. And then we have Nakia Badir, and this is also a very good friend of Ms. Marvel's. And this is an alter ego action, so exhaust Nakia Badir and reduce the cost of the next card you play this phase by 1. So she's kind of just a way to get some of these cards onto the table without spending too much. So that's the Ms. Marvel deck proper, as far as the cards that are going to benefit you. Now we're going to dive into her nemesis. And this nemesis, I must admit, kind of took me by surprise when I saw him in the deck. Didn't quite know what to think, so I did some research, and yeah, he's a thing. So let's get him on the table and show you what her nemesis is all about. So Ms. Marvel's nemesis is a guy called Thomas Edison, and yes, that is the Thomas Edison. Well, in actual fact, it's a clone. The inventor, as one of the villains of Ms. Marvel's, tried to make a clone of Thomas Edison and accidentally got some DNA from his pet cockatiel mixed up, and hence Thomas Edison was born. So this is a 3-1 villain, sort of 3 scheme, 1 attack. He's got 3 health. And the key here is this guy is a heavy-duty schemer, but if you listen to his text, you're going to see why. So Thomas Edison cannot take damage while you're engaged with another minion. So that's important to note because, you know, if he comes out on the table by himself, yes, you can hurt him, but if there's other minions attached to Ms. Marvel, he's not going to be able to be attacked. And with that 3 scheme, if she goes into into her alter ego mode, it's not going to look pretty for your scheme. So I'm going to show you what he's got for minions. Her deck comes with 1 minion, well, 2, including Thomas Edison. It's a nemesis and the minion. So this is Edison's giant robot, and this is an interesting one. So it's a robot, he cannot take damage. So he's got an 8 damage. He has a 1 scheme and a 2 attack, but he can't take damage. So you want to know, how in the heck do you defeat this thing? Well, as a hero action, you spend a mental resource until the end of the phase. Treat this card's printed text box as if it were blank. So essentially, you need to spend a mental resource before you can actually attack it. So each round you don't do that, it's hitting you for 2 damage. Okay, and then Harvest is a treachery card. So when revealed, exhaust each persona support in play. So just worth noting that all of Ms. Marvel's support cards are persona supports. And for each support exhausted this way, the villain heals 1 damage. And it says if no persona support was exhausted this way, it gains Surge. And so what kicks off this whole nemesis string? We have Generation Y. So Generation Y is a 3 boost card. So if you pull it as a part of a boost, it's not pretty. It's quite interesting. When revealed, discard the top card of each player's deck for each ally and persona support in play. So if she has a whole suite of her support cards on the table, but keeping in mind it says each player's deck, so that's both players, and you discard cards off the top. So it kind of really sucks if you have to discard a card that you really want. So that's Ms. Marvel in a nutshell. She's a great package to throw in with the existing core set that you got. Kind of a fun character to play. I don't know how I feel about her thematically, but she definitely has some kooky ways to reduce threat. I don't know if I'd fancy her as a kind of a heavy hitter like I would with Captain America or Iron Man, but when Kyle and I were playing, she definitely took care of a lot of the thwarting, and for that end, I would definitely recommend getting her on the table and giving her a shot. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate the support, and I'll keep rolling these expansion videos out as new heroes roll out for Marvel Champions. Have a great one.
Game Nexus.
This video was created with the help of the Game Nexus, a group of people who help content creators reach their goals as well as host their content. Their link is in the description below.